Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Healed and Chilled. We have another awesome and amazing, wonderful special guest, and you guys already know how I like to do it here. I like for the guest to have control of the narrative. So, if you would, in your own words, from your own point of view, can you please introduce yourself and we'll dive right into the interview?
Hi, my name is Harrison. I am a musician from Northwest England. I'm Harrison J on all music platforms. That's J spelt Jay. And that's my middle name, actually. My real surname's Jones. But I go by Harrison J for music. And yeah, I've been releasing since 2023. I am independent. Everything is self-produced as well. I'm a producer, writer, performer, and I just like to get all the creative ideas I have in my mind out in the world. It's just something that brings me so much like fulfillment in life.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, something you really spoke about just now is that it brings you fulfillment in life. And I think that something that I, especially when I'm with the children and just in general, try to highlight is like you have to have a purpose, you know? And I remember when I first got out of school, I was just working and going home, and I was miserable.
Mm,
And so then once I started, doing the podcast again, interviewing and just doing creative stuff, then I felt like, okay, this is great. So, can you talk a little bit about what you mean by creativity and your artistry brings you fulfillment?
yeah, definitely. Like that sentiment's very relatable. Having work feel like it defines you at times, but it's good to define the work and not let work define you. I feel like that's a good sentiment
Hmm.
to have in life. And it's I still work as well. Like music isn't the only thing that I do for money. It's not my main source of income as well. So my main source of income is at a theatre I work at. So it is good as well, but it's still work at the end of the day. It's front of house hospitality work. But with that, it means that I can focus on making the creativity really personal to me,
Mm.
something that I'm really passionate about. It's not about money, the creative projects that I do. It's just about getting the thoughts that I just really want to have actually exist. And I think that
Yes.
a lot of people suppress those thoughts or they think they can't do it because of whatever
Mm.
reason. But it's definitely possible on your own and independently, and I want to help inspire others.
Mm. Absolutely. And kudos to you for doing so because I think that when you're creating something that you want this thing to be in the world, it's such a beautiful process, but it can also be scary because after you release that thing into the world, it's like, okay, my creativity is out here now. What
Yeah,
I
I did find it
Another version of
scary when I was
me.
first releasing, definitely. I sat
Yeah.
on songs for a long time. Yeah.
So how were you able to work through that? Was it something that over time you just built that muscle, or was it like, okay, well, if I want to do this, I have to. So you have to force yourself.
Definitely. It was hard. I think I went to university and studied media production. So I think
Okay.
that helped my confidence quite a bit for my music, actually, because it helped me see it from a different lens and see it from
Hmm.
more of a marketing perspective rather than a really personal perspective. And I think that when you release a song, it's almost letting go of it because you're putting it up for anyone's judgment. And that's the scary part is other
Yeah.
people's judgment. It's not the actual act of publishing it, it's other people's opinions that you're scared of, definitely. So I think
Hmm.
that it's just learning to not let others' opinions affect you at all. And it's hard to do that,
Hmm.
especially if people have strong opinions, but it's you just have to really be self-assured. And it's one of those that by being creative and discovering what you like to do, like personally, I think that that helps you become more self-assured because you
Yeah.
just feel confident in what you're doing, and it just doesn't matter what anyone thinks.
Mm. Yes, yes, yes. Totally
Yeah,
agree. Totally agree. So was this how has doing music helped you, or like what have you learned about yourself or the world? Because I find that, once we find our creative thing or thing that lights us up. I like to really say the thing that makes your heart sing. It can make you see the world differently. So has your creative venture with music and things, has that altered how you view yourself and everyone else around you?
I would say so, yes. I don't think it's one of those that I have mixed feelings about because it's made me realize how much people don't care about music. And it's nothing
Mm,
bad. It's the thing is that it's not bad to not care about music, but a lot of people just don't. And that's okay. It's just that I had a bit of a roadblock with that because it's like there are just some people like friends I know personally that just don't care about my music, and it's fine. Like it's just one of those that
mm,
maybe sometimes I would expect them to care a bit more, but it's like
mm,
there's a level I as long as they respect it, as long as they don't think that I'm just making a fool of myself, I think that that's just disrespect to that point. But I don't usually get that. It's just one of those that I feel like some people just don't care about the music and they don't show any support for it. And it's one of those that I just don't take that personally because I just know people are busy as well. People just have their own lives,
mm.
their own struggles as well. So it's one of those that you don't know what's going on. So it's just everyone's so different in their own path, and you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's very, very true. You really never know what's going on in anybody's life at any given moment. And yeah, and it can also be true too, where you're like, oh, I thought that this person was really gonna enjoy this thing. And it's like it
Yeah,
just like
especially
went
if
right
it's their
past them.
taste as well. Like you might know a person's taste and it's actually not their taste. And yeah,
Right.
people can be really unpredictable at times. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, speaking of just like music and those things and like getting your creative thoughts out there, is there anything that specifically inspires you to create or something that you're like, okay, like I have to do this and then a song will come, or does it just come randomly? Like, what's that process?
I love to songwrite. I feel like a lot of the time my songwriting is based sometimes on real life things, other times it's inspired from songs I personally love as well. And I think that's something that also keeps me really inspired to create is the amount of music I listen to. I'm very up to date with new drops, new releases every single week. I'm always checking. And it's almost to the point
Mm,
where I need to slow down with how much new music I listen to because it's a bit obsessive. So I need to just because that's the hardest part about making music is you have to stop listening to music. You have to like just not listen
mm,
to other people's music and focus on your own. And that's what I find the hardest thing is. It's like just it can be distracting for me. Music can. It's a bit of a. It's a double-edged sword because I want to make music, but I also want to listen to music at the same time. Sometimes I have tried to do that. Actually, do both at the same
so
time, but that's too hard. I don't recommend that.
yeah. So for someone who's not in the music space, like why can't you listen to someone's song while you're like what's that about?
I don't know. I don't think it's about copying them. I think it's just about losing your sense of self. And there's definitely
Mm,
ways you can be inspired to make like a certain instrument sound like their instrument, and you could just but I feel like originality is key, especially with with what I'm trying to do with music. Like you don't have to even be original with music, and some of the biggest hits of this year arguably are not that original, but that's a whole other
yeah.
conversation. Like because sampling as well, sampling's so common, and I'm not even. I love sampling when it's used in a creative way, especially because I think there's so many creative ways to sample as well. So I think that copying isn't necessarily unoriginal as well. I think that you just have to have your own flair to it. It just doesn't have to like people say like reheated nachos. Have you heard that phrase where people are like, "This is just so and so's reheated nachos."
No.
That's something
I've
that
not
people
heard
do
it,
to
but it
like
makes sense.
yeah. So I feel like I'm just trying to make my own nachos, and I feel like you should do the same. That's the goal in life. Just make your own nachos.
No, that's real actually. So yeah, so speaking of making your own nachos, I know you have a new song coming out. So would you mind talking about that and sharing all the good, wonderful details?
Yes, I'd love to. So it's called Hellish Paradise, which is like I don't believe in hell, first of all, so it's not a religious song. That's one thing I want to clear off straight away. It's definitely about like feel it's quite a sad song, but it's also spooky, which makes it perfect for Halloween. So it's why I've
Okay.
been it's a song that I've had for a while actually and just haven't released. It's actually already on my SoundCloud, but people like if people will hear this afterwards anyway. So it's on SoundCloud too. before I release it anyway. I've already distracted myself now, and I've lost my train of thought. It's called Hellish Paradise, and it's just about how life can have its ups and downs, and it's just I don't know. It's quite somber as well. It's synth pop, and it's a bit heavy as well on the subject topic. So it's hard to talk about. I don't know, but I'm just excited to
Okay.
release it. Um, like I think what's been holding me back from releasing it for so long is the visual aspects as well. So I think I've leaned into the Halloween side of it to really have
Mm.
it be a good release with the visuals too, because I care a lot about the visuals for music. Because I, as a music listener, love
Mm.
good visuals, and it can really elevate a project. So I'd rather
Yeah.
wait to have the right visuals before I release something too. So that's why it feels like the perfect time to release this song, even though it seems like I wrote this song when I was in a more unhappy place, but now I'm in a happier place, and it feels
Mm.
like that's why I found a hard time describing it, is because I feel a bit detached from the subject of it now. But it's
Mm.
just I still love the song, and I think that it deserves the light of day. So I think it's the right time now. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I'm excited for the project to come out. And what can if you can share, like what can a listener expect to feel from this song? Like not necessarily getting into the details, but like are they going to feel emotional? Are they going to shed a few tears? What emotions
possibly
could
it
this
it seems
elicit?
like
Okay.
a song that could be relatable for many people. Definitely,
Mm.
people who've struggled. Like it seems like a song that it's it's a song like it's okay to not be okay. It's that sort of song.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
And would you
it's
mind
not
oh,
super slow
yeah,
as
go ahead.
well.
Okay.
it's got a groove to it. So it's not something that's really slow. It's very vibey. You can still vibe to it.
Okay, I'm excited for this. So, can you explain why you wanted to make a song about like why it's okay not to be okay specifically?
Yeah, I think that I just want to be real with my music. I think that I just don't like how shallow some songs can be, especially a lot of like hit
Mm,
songs today are very shallow. And like there are some
yeah.
other songs that I've released which are a bit like more shallow than this one, but I still like to not have it be like super shallow. But I also think
Hmm.
that you can have a shallow song be good as well. It doesn't mean that the song's necessarily bad. It's just not what I want to do with music. I just want to be very like raw and real with what I write. And I think that
Hmm.
just it really helps me as well, just get over things as well. It helps me what's the word? It's like what's the word? I
Yeah,
forgot.
compartmentalize.
That's the
Yeah.
word. Yeah.
Hmm. Go ahead. Let's go. Go. Okay, yeah. So I definitely hear that. Were you always into creating um songs and music that had a message to it? I think we might be having some technical difficulties. But
No, there we go.
oh, okay.
Zoom can be complicated at times.
Yeah, of
So,
course, of course.
yes, I first started writing music, I want to say around like age 10, like songwriting. Before
Hmm.
that, I had learned basics for guitar and violin, which I don't have a
Oh,
violin
okay.
anymore, sadly, but that's what I learned in school. They were the first instruments I ever learned. So that's how I very first got into music, I guess. And then I then
Hmm.
hosted a radio show when I was 16, like a community radio show for the local town near where I live called Nantwich. So
Oh,
that was
wow.
a radio show I did for 2 years. It was called Recent Releases. So I did that every Sunday, and it was showing the newest songs of that week every single week, and giving my opinion on it. And I think by doing that, it really immersed myself into music culture to a level that I hadn't been in before, and it made me so inspired to really like become part of the music industry because I felt like I learned a lot about the music industry by doing that, and it made me so
Hmm.
inspired. And just now I'm a part of it technically, even though I don't know really anyone in the music industry. I'm very detached from the music industry. And I like that
Hmm.
as well because it's so scary the music industry. Like the less I
Yeah.
know, the better, honestly.
Yeah.
Because there's
Go
some
ahead, keep going,
horror
keep going.
stories, but we don't need to talk
Yeah.
about that. Oh,
Yeah.
going off there. Sorry.
They're listening to us.
Yeah, exactly. The music industry is
They're
listening.
listening to us. Yeah. But no, I definitely can resonate. Now I'm not necessarily in the music space, but I can definitely resonate with what you're saying, and it's something that you enjoyed from childhood and it just grew with
I've
you. And
always
I
loved
think,
listening, and I've always like dancing to music as well, and just like I've always
hmm
just loved music. I can't remember a time when I haven't.
yeah. And I think that is a testament to like show it's part of like why you're here. Cause I've noticed like stuff that we do as children. Like I used to pretend like I was the teacher and like teach stuffed animals,
Mm.
and like here I am now working with kids or children. So and
Ah.
you're playing the with instruments when you're 10 and things. So I think
Mm.
it's like those things that you just naturally do as a child. It's interesting because it's the thing you still really love as an adult.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's why it's so lucky when you have a good upbringing as well, when you're allowed to be yourself growing up, because that's a privilege, really. There's a lot of people that don't have good parents or a good support system, and they can't find their
Oh,
true passions as a child. And I feel so bad for them, definitely.
yeah. Yeah, no, that man, that is so real. I could
Mm.
now, like you said, like don't let me go down that rabbit hole. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole, but I
Yeah,
definitely have a lot. I have a lot of thoughts
me
on
too.
that.
But that's a very heated. It's a lot to talk about. It's
Yes,
a deep subject, definitely.
exactly. So let's, but everybody that's listening understands what we're saying without saying it. But
Mm.
yeah, I definitely salute you for walking in your path and doing what makes you feel good. Excuse me, doing what makes your heart sing and taking it day by day. So, is there anything about your journey that's been a shock? Like something that you're like, oh, when I first started, I thought it was going to be like this, and this, but then reality happened and it was this thing instead.
I think that the shock for me is how like the labels, like the amount of anything that anyone's contacted me in terms of like industry, like labels, it's been all scams, like every single thing. So there's so many like on my TikTok DMs, literally daily, I'll get like fake dancer accounts asking for like we can post your song to a dance video, and they have like different fake dancers, and it's like I feel bad for the real dancers in those videos because they're clearly it's stolen content, and it'll be people like trying to farm money and get money from indie musicians. And it's like it's so common, the amount of like scams in the industry. So I think that that was a shock to me. It's just the amount of like corruption in the music industry, and even like with like professional labels, I hear of many corruption stories, and it just makes me so
Mm-hmm.
it makes me so sad for the artists. Like I know so many like legendary musicians that have gone through many troubles with the industry, and it doesn't
Yeah.
put me, the sad thing is that it doesn't put me off still, like because I just really love what I'm doing with my music, and I feel like as long as it's out there, that's all that matters to me. And I just want to do my best
Mm-hmm.
with it. And I would also love to perform and connect with an audience as well, but it's hard when you're completely independent. Like I haven't ever toured, or I've only ever done one gig ever, and it was a small venue. It was at a restaurant actually. It was very nice actually. I'm glad I got to do that. That
Mm-hmm.
was beautiful actually. But it's one of those that with industry backing, you can do so much more, but there's also so many sacrifices
Yeah.
you have to make. And it's
Mm.
also a lot of people lose their sense of self in that because there's label expectations, and there's like you have to perform as good as your last hit and all of that. And there's so much pressure, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just, it shouldn't be about that. It should just be about the music. But sadly, the ones at the top don't see it that way. So,
Yeah. That's real. That's real. And something that is interesting is like the more that I'm learning about different industries through this particular podcast, because for those who don't know, this is not our first interview that we've ever done before together. So we were on a different platform and things. But for this particular podcast, I have noticed I've been learning that there's corruption in so many industries. Like
definitely.
even
I think
in the
it's capitalism
yeah.
is the root of all evil, but there's also it's hard because the other options aren't any better, really.
Right.
So it's
So
like such a double-edged sword.
yeah, but I think that's the good thing about like social media to some extent and like building community, even if it's virtually, because if we as the people can come together and support each other and do things together and circle back, then we don't need those big corporations. We don't
Absolutely.
need them at the top. So even apparently the publishing for books, there's corruption
Oh,
there. I would have
there is the
never
amount of AI
known.
books all over Amazon, like it's so bad.
Yeah, so it's a lot going on there. But as long as we keep coming together, sharing our stories, sharing each other's content and things, at least we can do what we can do. So we are kind of coming up a little bit on the tail end. Of course, I do still have questions, but I wanted to give you the opportunity if there was anything that you wanted to talk about or highlight that you haven't yet been able to, like now's your opportunity.
Okay, great. So, uh, I think I'll talk about my plans for next year and like with music. I think hopefully in 2026 will be the debut album. That's my goal. I'd love to release
Okay.
it next year. And I have so many songs that I haven't released yet, but I also want to work on new concepts that I have written and haven't made fully yet. Because I just have
Mm-hmm.
so, because I feel like with all these like demos that I have made, there's a lot of duds as well. Like that's the beauty of making them as well, though, is that you get to perfect your craft and find out what works and what doesn't work. And I also like to experiment a lot with my music. So I think there's like some songs that are so different that it's like they wouldn't even work on an album. So that's what I'm trying at the moment is to get a cohesive project together and to really
Mm-hmm.
focus on that. As I feel like when I have at least one cohesive full length project, it will really help legitimize what I'm doing. Even though right now I have an EP and multiple singles, I have, I think, 14 tracks in total currently released as I'm recording this, which I think it will make it 15 with Hellish Paradise being released. So,
Oh,
it,
wow.
yeah, which over the space of 2 years, compared to other artists, that's not as much as others have done in the space of 2 years. But I'm happy. I think that that's like I'm so proud of myself for doing that off minimal budget as well, and for the results I've had off that minimal budget, and it's like just been self promoting through social media, and I'm
Mm.
very proud of what I've achieved. And I just want to keep it at it and try and get even more consistent and better quality.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, we are definitely rooting for you 100,000%. At the end of the
Thank
day,
you.
yeah, of course, anybody that, because I can relate, anybody that's out here making the most of what you currently have and being happy and living your life and all those things and serving your purpose, whatever that may be, I think that it's honorable because it's easy to slip into other spaces. It's easier to
Definitely.
take the shortcut, but
It is
not
easy
doing
to choose
so.
convenience. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's harder to sleep at night too. So, it's
Mm.
it's a double-edged sword like you said before. So yeah, so I have some cliche questions that I ask everybody at the closing. And then, of course, we'll close out things. But before that, did you want to add anything else or are you ready for the cliche round of questioning?
Uh, I'll just say you can find me on social media at it's Harrison J on all platforms with ITS as in like it and then Harrison J JAY. And that's where you can keep up with me and everything I'm up to. I've also got my own website, harrisonj.com. And that's all I have to say, really. Just plug in myself.
Yes. Yeah, well, you actually answered one of the questions, but I'll ask you it again anyway
Oh,
at
was
the
that
end
going to be
then.
one of the questions? Oh.
Yeah, but it's okay. The more people hear the names, the better. So
Mm.
that's awesome. All right. So, my first cliche question is if you can think of a time when you were younger and you were in a darker space, what's one piece of advice that you know now that you wish you knew back then?
Uh, I'd say that being yourself fully is the most powerful thing that you can do. Because I
Mm.
feel like in the past I've let other people's words hurt me, and I feel like I've had to act a certain way around them or like be different. When that's so not true. Just be yourself fully. So that's what I would say, definitely.
Yes, yes, yes. I can totally relate to that. And I'm sure a lot of other people can too. The second cliche question is the world, the universe, the internet all work in very mysterious ways. So we never know who's going to listen to this. We never know whose desk this is going to come across. So is there any person, place, or organization that you would really love to work with if they did hear this conversation?
Oh my gosh, there's so many artists and producers and many people that inspire me. So that's so hard to put it down to one person. I think right now, if any, like, I don't know who's going to watch this. I'm trying to think of like who in my head could watch this potentially.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Jade Thirlwall. Do you know who she is? She's Jade from
Mm-mm.
Little Mix. If you know the band Little Mix, she's just
Oh,
released
yeah, I
a
know them.
solo album and it's so good. It's like beautiful experimental pop and it's like one of the best pop records I've heard in a long time. I love it. So that's one dream collaboration, definitely. Like I found it so
Yeah.
moving that project. Actually, it's so good.
Yeah. Is there anyone else you can list names if you want to,
Okay, I could
because
do
we never
multiple people.
know.
I thought you wanted just one. Okay,
Yeah.
I love Sam
Yeah.
Fender. That's a huge inspiration for me. He's up from the north as well, so it's definitely well. So is Jade as well, actually. But then if we're just, it doesn't matter where they're from, but they just happen to both be from
Yeah.
the UK. And then I love for like producers. I love K Trinada. Do you know K Trinada? He's so
Mm-mm.
cool. Oh, definitely check out K Trinada.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
done so much. He's really good at R&B, like experimental R&B.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so his
Okay.
style of production is so dreamy, and I love dreamy songs. So he inspires me a
Mm.
lot to get that dreaminess in my songs.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I kind of live under a rock, so like I don't really know like the new stuff going on, but I'm definitely gonna check those people out. And like we said, we don't know. Maybe they'll hear it. So I'm sending you a lot of good luck in that space as well.
Oh,
And
thank
then
you.
finally, of course, you already answered this question, but we got to close out with this. And then of course I have one more just to close for. But if someone wants to contact you specifically or send you something, what's the best way to get in contact with you? And then also, what's the best way to stay updated?
Yeah, so you can contact me. I'd say Instagram DMs is where I'd reply the fastest. So, like I said before, it's Harrison J is the username. And you can also find me on YouTube as well. So that's just Harrison J, like my music name. And I'm also on all the music platforms like SoundCloud and all that. So if you're a musician on SoundCloud, feel free to just DM me on SoundCloud. And that's just Harrison J.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'll put your links in the description and things as well, but just so people can hear it. All right. So, before we go, because I know sometimes it's like, oh, I wish I would have asked this, or I wish I would have said that, and all that. So, is there anything that is on your mind that you want to leave us off with, or that you wanted to share, but you might have forgot?
I'm trying to think. This will be released like near Christmas. So, last year for December, every single day I released a Christmas cover. So that is something that I'm actually not going to do, but I'm going to try and be very consistent in the Christmas season still. So, I'm going to try at least do one a week. The reason why I don't want to do it every single day is because it drained me last year. But I'm so glad I did it because it
Yeah.
was like a personal like challenge to do it every single day for it was 24, so I did it from up until Christmas Eve, and it was also 24 Christmas songs that I personally loved. So I felt like if I did 24 again this year, I would find it much harder because the other Christmas songs I don't personally love the same level as those ones that I
Yeah.
chose. So
Mm.
uh, it's just one of those that I'm going to try and be really consistent in the Christmas season. So do keep up if you love Christmas music. So I think that's one thing to end with that's quite nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna give you, like I give all the guests and the children, a signature round of applause for a woo! We gotta do it 3 times. So yeah, perfect, perfect. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you for your openness, your conversation. I'm wishing you so much luck on your journey.
Oh,
Of
thanks
course, you
you
already
too.
know. Of course. You already know if you ever want to come back, you're absolutely more than welcome. And I'm excited to see what happens on your journey and what you learn the next time our paths cross.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd love to do this again. It's been a lovely conversation.
Likewise, and I know the listeners got something out of this. So thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you for another episode of Healed and Chilled.
Bye.